just with obviously school sports and travel. We'll have a little bit of we wanted to start a little early, obviously, for the football fans here, so we will do that. We'll have in the end, we'll have a little Q&A of questions that you guys had emailed me. We'll ask Coach a bunch of different questions, but a lot of the questions you guys have sent in are things that he's going to cover tonight. So hopefully there's a lot of answers to what's going through your mind through this process. This is geared more towards the older guys, but I like there's a few younger guys in here. It's great to understand this process. To navigate through the recruiting process can be difficult. It can also be scary. So we're here to ease that pain a little bit and give you guys some guidance on what's needed and what you should be doing to make this process, one, easier, and two, make it a little bit fun for the kids. It doesn't have to be such a drain and such a drag on everybody. So I noticed when I hear from a lot of parents that the process was extremely tough, time-consuming, and emotionally draining. And we don't want that. Though it's going to happen for a lot of people because obviously dreams, expectations, and reality are you have a broad range of emotions and a broad range of skill levels and colleges and coaches take a long time to make sure they're grabbing the right kids. So before I hand everything over to Coach P, these questionnaires, they are for the 2022, 21s, and 20s. They are part of your recruiting coordinator help where I can actually look and see these when you start going through the process. You can do one starting out as a 9th grader, and then as we move forward. All 10th and 11th grade players should have one of these to me. It allows me, when you're starting to go through the process, to find out what schools that interest you, what type of student you are, because I don't always know those facts, and again, what your needs and desires are. And if I know that better, when you start asking me questions about recruiting camps and Under Armour and going up to Showtime, it allows me again to do it properly and figure out what the best course of action is for each individual player. So for you guys, you should have one of these to me. I catalog them at my office in the house, and every team I have everything listed as. So it's important for me that if you're trying to play lacrosse in college and you're going to go through that recruiting process, this is helpful to me to help guide you along that winding road. So if you can, get it to me. I sent this out a couple of times this year already. Most recently, the reminder I did on Saturday for this event. If you need it sent again, you're not getting it on your computer, just let me know. I'll get it to you individually, and then that way you can fill it out and get it back to me. So let me introduce, obviously, all you guys know, Coach Pietramala is here to help us navigate this winding road regarding recruiting. So as people come in, make yourself comfortable, find your spot, and again, absorb what Coach is going to tell you, because it's going to be very important for you as you go along this trip. So without any further ado, Coach Pietramala.
I didn't know you had an office at your house.
You saw my office. It's quite small.
It's quite small.
It is quite sloppy nowadays.
Good evening, everybody. So I would like to make this as informal as I possibly can. So one, I hope you'll bear with me as I kind of glance back. So this is a common presentation for our coaching staff to do. So what we did was recently when the rules changed, we put together a presentation that basically touches on all the important points of what is intended to be one of the more exciting times of young men your age's lives. One of the more exciting times for parents. Ron mentioned it being a stressful or difficult or long and winding process. And it can be very much like that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. So my hope tonight is to educate you guys and give you a better sense for what are the do's, what are the can-do's and cannot do's. What are we allowed to do? What can't we do? What can we say? What can't we say? Who can we talk to? It's a rather confusing process. And sadly, most people are not very well educated on it. So you don't find that all the high school coaches are going to give you a handout and say, okay, this is the way the recruiting process goes. You're going to find that some clubs will do exactly what we're doing here tonight. Most won't. So unfortunately, for most families, you wind up navigating this really exciting and really important process on your own with a lot of opinions swirling around you and not a whole lot of guidance, and maybe more importantly, not a whole lot of fact. So let me start by saying this. Everybody's process is going to be different. Okay? There are a lot of rumors out there as to what the recruiting process is like, and I would encourage you to not pay much attention to the things that you hear, because there's a great difference between fact and rumor, and more of the things that you hear out there are rumor. So most recently, the landscape of recruiting changed a great deal. So as many of you guys know, I was rather excited to get to know this class and get to know the 21 class, because I know it very well, as my twin boys play with that age group and the 22s. So I felt like, as the head coach at Johns Hopkins, I had a distinct advantage over a lot of other programs, because I've spent more time with the 21s and 22s than probably most other coaches across the country. And then lo and behold, just as we're about to get started recruiting this class, the rules changed. And it was a very good thing. So let me quickly recap what the rules used to be. The rules or the process was such where we as college coaches were recruiting 9th graders. We were taking verbal commitments from guys, young men, boys, I guess, that hadn't even started their first day of classes of 9th grade, had never stepped on a varsity lacrosse field. And when you think about that, it's not a process designed for a lot of success. It doesn't provide coaches with a tremendous opportunity to evaluate a very mature young man. It doesn't provide universities an opportunity to evaluate a full student. And it doesn't give you as young guys a chance to really show what you're truly capable of, because you haven't really hit your full potential. And it's an awful lot to ask of a 14 and 15-year-old young man to make a decision that is going to impact the rest of their lives. And I'm going to say this, I say this to every young guy that comes through our office. The decision that you will make with where you go to college, whether it's as a recruited athlete or a non-recruited athlete, it is going to be the most important decision that you make up to that point in your life. And it's going to impact a couple of things. It's going to impact where you take a job and who you take a job with, when you get married, who you marry, and when you have kids. Now, at the age of 14, imagine sitting in front of a college coach and him telling you that it's going to impact who you marry and it's going to impact children. I mean, those seem light years away, but it does. And what I mean by that is this. Where you go to college is going to impact the kind of job that you get and where you get that job. Chances are you're going to meet your future wife at that school or somewhere in the workforce where you get that job. And when you decide to have children, it's going to be based off of where you are financially in your life. And all those things are going to be directly impacted by the decision that you make as to where you're going to go to college. So it's a complicated and it is an important decision. And I wanted to start there because I want you to understand how important this decision is. And the reason why I want you to understand that is because I want to encourage you to take your time. Okay? So, when you think of where you guys are right now, have you hit your full potential as an athlete? Probably not, right? Probably not even close to where you're going to be. Some of you are probably 140, 150 pounds, and 3 years from now, you're going to be closer to 195 pounds. You are going to change, you're going to blossom. There's a reason why in the sport of football, they wait. They wait more through the junior and senior year because it's a better evaluation. So our process was broken, and we were recruiting and taking commitments at the earliest young men that had just finished their 8th grade year. I can't get my boys to pick up their underwear from behind the bathroom door right now, so if that gives you a sense. It's not a good process. The rules have now changed, so let me kind of get into that a little bit. So, when does the recruiting process start for you? So, how many guys are in their sophomore year right now? How many are in junior? Any seniors? Any freshmen? Okay. So it's never too early for you to start thinking about this, and it's never too early for you to start preparing for this. So the process has changed. Before we could have contact, let me define what contact is. Contact is a phone call. Contact is I bump into you out at a tournament. Contact is you come to a college coach's office and you spend time with them. That is considered contact. An evaluation is any time a coach comes and watches you play. So there's a difference clearly between a contact and an evaluation. We could have contact when guys were in 8th grade. We could actively recruit them after they finished their 8th grade year. We could take verbal commitments from 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th graders. Now the rule has changed and the process has changed, and it's changed for the better. So currently the process is simple. You cannot, as a recruited student athlete, have contact with a college coach until September 1 of your junior year. So we pushed it back 2 full years. So you are not permitted to have a conversation with a college coach that involves recruiting anytime before September 1 of your junior year. Okay? So, pretty simple. September 1 comes, okay? You're allowed to receive letters. You're allowed to receive phone calls. You're allowed to receive emails. You're allowed to receive text messages. So most of the ways that young guys communicate is how a college coach can communicate with them. Now, prior to this new rule coming into effect, a young guy like yourself, like Aiden, could pick up the phone and he could call a college coach and say, "Hi, I'm Aiden Johnson, I'm really interested in your school," and that coach could have a conversation with you. That is not the case anymore. So you cannot reach out to a college coach, he cannot reach out to you until September 1 of your junior year. So that is the date that everybody in this room has to know, okay? So, I'm sorry. So coaches cannot engage in any conversations with you or a third party. So that third party would be your club coach. That third party would be your high school coach. College coaches cannot engage in those conversations with them and ask them to pass information on to you or your family until September 1. You're going to keep hearing me say that date. September 1, September 1, September 1. Okay? So as I was, I'm sorry, I keep doing this. So as I was pointing out, you go through your freshman year. You go through your sophomore year. You happen to be a good player. What level? Could be Division I, could be Division II, could be Division III. The first thing you need to understand is the date September 1 for Division 1, for Division 2, and Division 3. After that, all the rules are different. So it's really important that you understand that the rules for Division 1 are different than the rules for Division 2 and the rules for Division 3. They are very, very different. So it's important to understand that, and it's important to know that. I can't sit here tonight and explain to you what the rules for Division 2 or Division 3 are, because quite frankly, I've never coached in an institution or in a program that was one of those, so I don't know. But for Division 1, they are much more strict or stringent than any of the others. Okay? I should backpedal and tell you this. Not everybody in this room is going to get recruited. But there is a place for every one of you. Okay? So just a quick story. When I was a young guy, I was dying to play college lacrosse. It's all I wanted to do from my 9th grade year on. So when I got to at the end of my 10th grade year, I wrote a letter to every college coach there was, every Division I coach there was. I got my first letter from a place called Drew University. Does anybody know where Drew University is? Where is that?
New Jersey.
New Jersey, that's right. Just so you know, I was ready to commit to Drew University the day I got that letter. Do any of you guys know what Drew University's lacrosse program is like? Have you ever heard of them? Exactly, exactly. So this is a really exciting time for you guys. But you need to understand everybody's process is going to be different. And you need to make sure you own your own process. You need to make sure you understand that the way it's going for one of your buddies doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to go for you. Okay? So just keep that in the back of your mind. I'll get back to it. So as I said, club coaches, high school coaches, any other division, any other coaches cannot play third party for you. So I cannot call Coach Klausner and say, Coach, I need you to do me a favor, and I need you to tell this young man on your 2021 team we're really interested in him, and that we'd like to have him to campus. I just broke a rule. I need you to pass along to him that Kyle Harrison was on a 3-quarter tuition scholarship when he came to Johns Hopkins, and he reminds me of Kyle Harrison. It's kind of my way around giving you a sense for where you might be in terms of scholarship. I can't do that. I cannot ask as a college coach anybody, any third party, to pass on information to you until, again, that date comes, September 1. Okay? Exceptions for communication prior to September 1 or your junior year of high school. So if I'm coaching you at a camp, at a showcase, I'm obviously allowed to speak to you. Okay? I just did a camp a couple weeks ago, and we worked with a group. Clearly, in order to work with them, you have to be able to communicate with them. So that is an opportunity where you can actually have conversations with the coach. Okay? But these conversations can't be about recruiting. So your name is? Sam. You're at a camp, and I'm working with you, and first time I've seen you play, Sam, and I said, wow, Sam's a really good player. And now I go over and say, Sam, what are your grades? And Sam, are you interested in going to school, in the South? I'm not allowed to have those conversations. So I'm allowed to say, Sam, this is the way you play defense, this is the way you play offense, these are the techniques that you use, but I am not allowed to have any kind of conversation that has to do with recruiting, Sam. Does that make sense? Please stop me if there's something I say you don't understand. You can walk by any coach and you can say, Coach, how are you? Coach Pietramala, how are you? The Penn State coach, the Syracuse coach, the Virginia coach, the Princeton coach. You can say hello. We call that a bump. It's an important word to know because coaches are really good at bumping into people. Okay? We tend to develop a propensity to do that. We bump into actually the right guys. So you're allowed to bump into a coach and say hello. So you're allowed to be polite. You're allowed to be cordial. You're not allowed to carry on a conversation. So that is a challenge, okay? Beginning September 1 of your junior year, coaches and prospective student athletes can engage, as I said, phone calls, text messages, email, regular mail, and FaceTime. So, to give you a sense how different the process is for certain people, on September 1, a coach might have a list of 4 guys that he's going to call at 12:01, at 12:10, at 12:15, at 12:25. And there are 4 guys that that coach is going to call at that time. What does that tell you? Can one of you guys tell me if that coach calls those 4 guys and only those 4 guys at that time? What's that tell you guys? Really wants them. Doesn't mean he doesn't want the other guys. You might be one of those other guys. And you may ask, well, how come I didn't get a call at 12:01? Well, obviously coaches can't call every guy at 12:01. And obviously we don't want to call into the 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. Some coaches now might visit you at home at 12:01. It's coming. Trust me, it's coming. Okay? It's coming real soon, actually. Okay? So at that 12 o'clock mark, a couple guys may get calls, and there's probably about 10 of those guys, 12 of those guys, maybe 15 at most, that get those kind of calls. And then everything kind of picks up the next morning from 7 a.m. on. Like I said, everybody's process is different. So you're going to share a word with you, realistic. It's important in this process for you guys and you parents to be realistic. Not everybody's a Division I player, and you know what? That doesn't mean you're not a good lacrosse player. There are tons of terrific Division III lacrosse programs. My assistant coach, Tim Obransky, is our director of lacrosse operations. He went to Salisbury. He won multiple championships at Salisbury, had a great career there, loved it. There are Division II programs that are outstanding. Okay? There are programs out there for everyone. You can't look at yourself and compare yourself to others. As parents, you can't look at your friends' kids or your relatives' kids and assume that their process, if they're involved in it, is going to be and should be like yours or like your son. So here's a couple of myths. Everybody gets a scholarship, correct? You know that, right? So how many of you heard so-and-so got a full scholarship? How many have heard that somewhere at some point in time? Has anybody ever heard that? You heard that? Where did you hear that, Coach Ron?
Most of the time from parents.
Parents. You know what we call that? As coaches, we call that cocktail conversation. Most guys in Division I don't get a full scholarship. I would tell you a very, very small percentage of college lacrosse players are on what is a full scholarship. Now, you know what a full scholarship is? It's tuition, room, board, books, and fees. That's a full scholarship. It means mom and dad don't pay anything. That is a full scholarship. Football at the Division I level gets 85 of those. 85 full scholarships. So just about, so anybody after the 85 number is either is a walk-on, a preferred walk-on, and they're paying their own money. Okay? On a basketball court, they're allowed 15 full scholarships. Means every basketball player is on a full scholarship. Can you take a guess how many lacrosse players are on a scholarship on a lacrosse team, on any given lacrosse team?
12.6.
Well, that's 12.6. Yeah, how many guys? Take a guess. Quarter, half, 3/4? More than a quarter. About half. Maybe a little bit more than half. Does that surprise you, parents? Yeah. All of a sudden, things get a little different. Financially, you start to go, whoa. Because some of these schools are $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. So the myth, everybody gets a scholarship, and a full scholarship, not true at all. College lacrosse gets 12.6 scholarships. So if you have a roster of 40, 45, 50 people, you get 12.5 scholarships for those, all those guys. You don't get 12.5 per class. You get 12.5 for the whole team. So what coaches do is they break those scholarships up in order to have a positive impact on as many young men's lives as they can. So they give out a quarter, a half, a tuition. If you're really good, you get a tuition. If you're really, really good, you get a tuition in a room. And on occasion, there's that special guy or that really needy family that gets everything. I will tell you in my tenure at Johns Hopkins, there's been 2 players on that kind of scholarship. Now, you can probably guess who those 2 players are, and you'd probably be wrong.
19 years too, right?
19 years, 2 players. So, scholarship dollars are very hard to come by. I'm verbally committed to, okay? While common, verbal commitments are nothing but that. It's a verbal commitment. It means, I'm going to call you tomorrow night. How many times have I told you that? And how many times have I not told you tomorrow night?
Many, many times.
Many, many, many times.
But you're busy.
A verbal commitment is exactly that. Now, depending on how you've been brought up, a verbal commitment in my household is a contract. That's what I believe as a man. Many of your parents may believe the same thing. But a verbal commitment, you need to understand this, guys, it's important, is not binding. It means you can change your mind if you want. And quite frankly, while it doesn't happen very often, but it's starting to, college coaches can change their minds too. So you decide to go to school A as a junior in the first month of the recruiting process. So at the end of September you say, I'm coming to school A. And you make a commitment, and all of a sudden, as you go along, a couple other schools that may be either bigger lacrosse schools, more elite lacrosse schools, better academic schools, decide to get involved and recruit you. You don't understand you're allowed to change your mind, correct? You guys understand you can change your mind? You understand that a coach could go watch you play, and what's your name? Yeah, Luke. Coach could go watch Luke play and say, oh my God, he was awful. Now Luke, I'm sure you're not. But he could say, I saw that Pietramala boy play, and I thought he was good when I saw him. Man, he stinks. And they can walk away. Now that's really not a real good thing for a college coach to do. And if that starts to get out there, it can be problematic for that college. But they can do that. So just understand what a commitment means. It's just verbal. You are not committed to a school fully. You are not admitted to a school until you apply, you get your acceptance letter, and you sign your scholarship if you're on a scholarship, or you sign your financial aid papers. That is when you are completely committed. That's when, if you change your mind, there are consequences to that. Okay? I have to commit just so I know I'm at least going somewhere, but I'm keeping my options open. I'm hearing it more and more every day. We hear the word decommitted. I don't know if that's really a word, but we've created it. And you're hearing about decommitments all the time. We have it happen to us. Okay? The way lacrosse has gotten is it's gotten very much like football, guys. And you're not really a good recruiter unless you can flip a guy and get them to go from one school to your school. And the days of Ron gave his commitment to Florida State and honoring that commitment, even when other schools are recruiting him, those days are few and far between now. It's who can give me the best deal, it's who can give me the best money, it's where's the better academic institution. So we are in a much different time now. So as you go through this process, it is important to be honest. It is important to be honest with the coaches that you're talking to. It is important for you to be honest with yourself. Okay? What you need to understand from a coaching point of view, if you commit to a school, that will change how that school recruits or handles the rest of their recruiting class. So if we're looking for 4 midfielders, and you happen to be the 4th guy in the midfield that commits, chances are we've gotten our 4th commitment, we've met our needs, we're done. We don't need to recruit any more midfielders. And what a lot of coaches will do is they'll let those guys go. They'll encourage them to look elsewhere because we've met our needs. But then what happens if you then turn around and change your mind? Well, all those other guys that we were recruiting and let go are probably looking or going elsewhere. So I would encourage you, when you make a decision, to make a decision and keep your commitment. But I also need to advise you that, or share with you that commitment isn't binding. So, you know, kind of strange. You don't want to play games with college coaches because many of them talk. Our community happens to be a very small community where it gets around. So you don't want to say, well, I'm going to commit there, but I'm really waiting for that school to call me, and I'm waiting for them to decide if they want me or not. That is, okay? So all of the spots are taken up. Coaches are constantly trying to fill their roster with the best student athletes. There's no harm in reaching out to see if they finish their recruiting class. So you're interested in school A, and you haven't, they haven't made a decision on you. They haven't said, we want you, we'd like to offer you a scholarship, and we'd like to help have you admitted. Is it okay for you to ask them where you stand? Guys, is it okay to ask that question? It's okay to ask any question. Remember, this is your process. Okay? It's going to be hard to own it because you're young guys, you're nervous. You don't want to piss a college coach off, do you? You don't want to ask the wrong question, do you? Why? Because if you ask the wrong question, what are you worried about? Getting dropped? You ask the questions that are important to you. You ask them thoughtfully, and you ask them intelligently. But you ask them. So, coach, can you tell me where I stand in your recruiting class? Is that an appropriate question to ask? Absolutely. I would want to know. Is it okay for me to ask you, hey, where does my school stand in regards to your schools? Are we 1 of 5? Are we 1 of 2? Where do I stand? Is that a fair question? Honesty. It's better to be honest. Ask the coach, where do I stand? Coach, for my family, college is going to be a challenge financially. Do you consider me a scholarship player? Is that okay to ask that? Yes, no, maybe? Sure, absolutely. It's part of the equation. Is that a hard question to ask? Yeah, of course. It's uncomfortable. Nobody wants to talk about money. That shouldn't be the first question to ask. You shouldn't say, hi, coach, how are you? You're going to give me money? You should take some time and get to know the coach in school. But as you go through the process, fellas, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to ask, where do I fit? I'm interested in studying this. Do you have this major? Do you have any guys on your team that take that major? So you can get a sense for what it's like for them to be a student athlete and play lacrosse and take that major. So just a couple of myths. So let me change a little bit. How do you get recruited? How do you handle this? So tell me how you get recruited. What do you guys here? Tell me how you get recruited. Just give me one thing. Emails. Okay, that's great. You can email coaches. How many coaches can you email? As many as you want. Okay, that's one email. One of the other guys up top. Give me what else do you do to get recruited? What's that? Highlight film. Absolute. All the best plays, right? Correct? Like an hour full, correct? What else? Tell me what else. What else can you do to get recruited? Go to showcases, absolutely. You've got to go to every showcase there is, right? You've got to go to like 12 balls every summer, right? But that's what people think. That's why this process is hard. So, just a couple of things. Before the process really gets rolling on September 1 of your junior year, for those guys that are sophomores now, this summer is a great time to do this. This spring is a great time to do this. You all have schools that you're interested in, that you like. Whether you like the color of their jerseys, or whether you like where they're located, or whether you like the majors that they have, or whether you like the coach, or you like the girls at the school, or whatever. You all have schools that you have interest in. Take the time and put together a highlight film. What a great way to get noticed. So, does anybody wonder, do coaches really watch those things? Do you think? You know how many we get? Like a year? It's ridiculous. And most of them are awful. And most of them, we won't even actively recruit that guy. But I will tell you that unlike football that does a lot off of film because the rules are just different from football, we have recruited guys off of film. So, what do you do to get noticed? Okay? So we'll start with this. Create a highlight film. Include your name. Okay? Don't stand up in front of the film and say, "Hi, my name is David George Pietramala." You don't need to do that. Have a page right at the beginning that has your name, your contact information, your phone number, to where to reach you, your parents' number, your email address, okay? Okay, remember, cell phone's important because we can text come September 1, all right? Statistics. I don't need to know how many millions of ground balls you have. I mean, it's subjective. How many goals did you score? How many assists did you have? What was your face-off percentage? What was your save percentage? I don't need to know if you're a defenseman. I had 97 takeaways. I really don't know how to measure that. But just an honest assessment of your statistics. Okay? What your high school is and your club is. What your high school coach's name is and his contact information, and what your club coach's name is and his contact information. Here's an important one. What number are you? You'd be amazed at how many films you get. And I look and go, wow, that guy's pretty good. But that's not the guy that sent me the film. I got to go through it, and I don't know what number the guy is. So then I got to go search. And you know what happens when I have to search too long? Delete. I'll have time. So, I know it sounds funny. Your number. If your club number is different than your high school number, which chances are it is. This is my high school number. This is my club number. In this film, I was at a tournament, and I was number 145. Make sure you tell the coaches what numbers you are in each of them. Okay? Plain and simple. I don't mean that to come across in a belittling fashion, but you'd be amazed at how many don't do that. Okay? Highlight film, I mentioned, you were great, highlight film. Great. You'd be amazed how long we get. It's ridiculous. An hour. I'm not going past 3 minutes. And I would tell you, number one, if the music is awful, and it's got the wrong words in it, I'm telling you this, I'm not going past the wrong words. I'll hit delete. I don't have time for it. I don't want it. I don't think it's appropriate. Doesn't mean any other coach won't, but most won't. If you want to get recruited by Johns Hopkins, I'll just share with you, you play 80s rock and roll and 90s rock and roll, you're in great shape. Okay? You play any of the other garbage, you're out. Make sure the music is appropriate. It can be something you like. And if it's rap, great. Just make sure it's a clean version. I kid you not. These things are important. Okay? They shouldn't be longer than 1 to 3 minutes. If you're a goalie, it's okay to show you got scored on. We all know you get scored on sometime. If you're a face-off guy, it's actually okay to show you losing a face-off. We're smart enough to know that you didn't win every single face-off you've ever taken. We want to see you actually fall down and see if you get back up. So if you lose a face-off and you got one where you chased the guy down and got the ball back, awesome. I want to see that. I want to see what kind of heart you play with. I want to see how you handle adversity. Okay, if you're a defenseman, I don't want to see every single time you ran over the midfield line and you threw a box stick and you walked the dog and you shot. I want to see you defending. I want to see you playing off the ball. I want to see you picking up a couple ground balls and clearing the ball. Fellas, it doesn't have to be more than 3 minutes. It's easy to tell how athletic a guy is. If a guy has an understanding of the game, if he's got a good stick, if he's fast, quick, if he moves well laterally, if he shoots the ball well, he's got good fundamentals, we can see all that in 3 minutes. And if we can't catch it in the first 3, we can hit rewind and watch it again. Doesn't need to be longer than 3 minutes. Okay? Highlight films are simple. Grab my attention. You want to, the opening screen is you screaming. Awesome. You grab my attention. Got a kid when I was at Cornell University. He sent me, back then the guy sent DVDs. He sent me a DVD. He sent me 2 pictures of him playing goalie in lacrosse and him playing goalie in hockey. And then he sent me another thing that said, think goalie, think, and he gave me his name. I was, wow, pretty catchy. Goalie in hockey, goalie in lacrosse, good. We actually recruited the kid, turned out to be an All-American for us. Okay? Catchy. Okay? More film is better than, more film is always better if there is mutual interest. Meaning, if we ask for more, you can give us more. If you'd like to see more, we're not sure it's okay, you can send us more. Okay? Draft an email and send to the coaches informing of your interest. Who said email? Send an email. My name is Pietramala. I am a junior at, or I'm a rising junior at St. Paul School. I have this as a GPA. I play this position. I'm this tall. I weigh this much. I am very interested in your school. Here's my contact information. Here's my academic profile. So it could either be a transcript. It could just be a profile that states, you know, what your GPA is, what you might have on PSATs. Easy. I can read that, and if I see a kid who's got a 900 or just 1,000 on his boards, I know I probably can't do anything with that guy right then and there. I gotta wait. If I see a kid with 1,200 boards, I go, wow, okay, great. He's in the, you know, a pile that we can look at. Okay? But just keep the email simple. This page-long email. I'm not getting past the first paragraph. Because I get 100 of them a day. Hi, my name is Joe Smith. I really love Hopkins, and I want to do this, and boom, 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 and a final second. Keep it short, keep it simple, keep it attention-grabbing, and just give the pertinent information. You're not going to offend anybody. You're actually doing yourselves a favor. Does that make sense, guys? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. Visit as many schools as you can while you're traveling. So how many guys go to tournaments? Okay, go to Carolina, go visit Duke, go visit Carolina. Take a walk around campus. You don't need to see the coaches. Just take a walk around. They can't recruit you until your junior year anyway. You're in Baltimore. Go visit Hopkins, go visit Towson, go visit Loyola, go visit Stevenson. Go visit any number of schools. Go visit a big school, small school, city school, a rural school. When you go to these tournaments, use them. Because when you go, and then it comes time, and some of these coaches are interested in it, you could say, well, I visited that school, man, it was just way too big for me. I'm not interested in that school. You've already made your process easier because you started narrowing down. Or that school is just too small. Or I don't like a city school, or I don't like a rural school. You can get a sense for what it is you like by just doing that. Familiarize yourself with the guidance counselors and the process for obtaining transcripts. Okay, so as important as your ability is, your grades are every bit as important, if not more. And this is where guys fall down. Okay, it takes time. So make sure, where are those guys that are going to be juniors, guys that are sophomores? Right now, when school is over and your school produces a final transcript for the year, it will have your freshman year grades and your sophomore year grades. Get one. Because when September 1 comes and Coach Smith calls you and says, hey, I'm interested, how are you doing in school? Well, Coach, I'm a 90 average, I'm an 85 average. Great, can you send that to me? Bang, that night, you scan it, you email it to the coach. He's got your information, now he can decide if you're academically qualified for that school at that point. You don't want to say, oh, let me get back to you, Coach, let me look into that. Because a lot of times it's not easy to get a transcript. If the process is underway, if it's a holiday, you can't get it. Oh, Coach, my counselor was out, I wasn't able to get it, or I asked. Have one. When you finish your freshman year, have one. Give it to your club coach. So when the time comes, your club coach is able to answer questions intelligently. It doesn't take anything more than going to your guidance counselor and saying, can you give me a copy of my transcript? It can be unofficial, guys. That means it doesn't have a school seal or stamp on it. But have one. And be prepared when September rolls around, or when you send out those letters or those emails, attach your transcript with it. Because now they got a highlight film of you and they got your grades. Well, if I watch it and I know he's good, awesome. But if I don't have a transcript, now I gotta wrestle with it because I gotta be careful how I go about getting those grades. Remember, I'm not allowed to work for a third party. You want to be as diligent as you can be. Make the coaches' lives easy. Give them everything they need before they even ask. Okay? Register with the NCAA Clearinghouse. Does everybody know what that is? Yes, no, maybe parents, you all know what that is?
Yes.
No? Who said no? Okay, so the NCAA Clearinghouse, so the NCAA is called the Initial Eligibility Center. All Division I athletes have to register with this NCAA group. What they do is basically after you graduate high school, they review your transcript, they review your SATs, and they decide, number one, are you a qualifier, and number two, have you met all the core curriculum requirements to play Division I sports. So you want to register for that as early as you can. And you want to provide them with as much information as you can. It's as simple as going online, going to your high school guidance counselor, filling out a form, and then sending in your transcript. Okay? To be eligible to play Division I sports, you have to fulfill a core curriculum. Certain amount of math classes, certain amount of science classes, certain amount of history classes, so on and so forth. So what you want to do is each year that passes, you'd like to send them a transcript so they can kind of mark off that checklist. So that when you become a senior and you graduate, you send your final transcript, really all they're looking at is your senior stuff. And they basically validate, are you eligible to play Division I athletics in any sport in Division I. Does that make sense, sir? So you can all do that right now. Takes nothing. Costs a couple bucks to register. You'll get a number, and that will be your tracking number, basically. Okay? Take the standardized test. This is the worst thing in the world, guys. The worst thing in the world. I'm dealing with it right now. The last thing you want to do is have a coach say, I really like you, I'm really interested, and him say, great, I'm interested in you, coach. Okay, what's your GPA? What are your SATs? I haven't taken them yet. It's your senior year. happens. Now taking your SATs and you're a senior, take your SATs as early as you can. It doesn't matter if you don't do great. You get as many chances as you want to take it. You are allowed to supersize basically that score, meaning you can take your best combination of reading, writing, math, and combine it. If you don't do well on the SATs, take the ACTs. But make sure that by the time your junior year is over, you've taken those more than once. I would recommend, if you can take them as a sophomore, take them. It's not going to hurt you. Because if you don't do well and you're a sophomore, coach is going to say, great, when the SATs come around junior year, take them again. We'll wait around. But you need to have those standardized testing. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Do your research. Who are you? Who do you want to be? What kind of school do you want to go to? Big school, small school? What do you think you're interested in? How many of you young guys know what you're interested in? You know what you want to study? What do you want to study?
Business.
Business. You sure about that? No, right? Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to be business too when I was in high school. Look what I do. I also thought I was going to be the president too, and that didn't work out. You just don't know. But what are your interests? I like engineering. I like math. I like business. I'm interested in athletic training. I want to be a doctor. I want to be in law one day. You could have 4 things. It doesn't matter. Then look at schools that have those things that you have interest in. But know who you are. Okay? Know who you are and what you are. What are you interested in? Where would you like to be? Want to go north? A lot of snow north, by the way. Want to go south? Real south? It's really hot down there. Want to stay in Maryland? It's really nice temperature around here. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to a city? Do you want to go to a rural area? Do you want a big school? Do you want a small school? You're the only one that knows that. Those little trips that you take before your junior year comes helps you to narrow things down. Okay? Why are you interested in each school on your list? So, is it because you like their uniforms? They're really cool? Not a good reason. Wow, folks, they got a lot of pretty girls there. Not a good reason. Not a good reason. They have a major that I'm interested in. Great reason. I like the coach. Good reason. I like the assistant coach. Still a good reason, but can't be the only reason. I like the location. I like the size. Just know why you like a school. Okay? How are you going to express your interest, and how are you going to entertain the school's interest? So, we talked about how are you going to express your interest. You're going to send a really short email with just the facts. You're going to send a 1 to 3 minute highlight with good music, clean music, and you're going to show them a couple of different things. Fellas, it doesn't have to be like this unbelievable film where there's all the bells and whistles and all that garbage. Just film, just a film. Break down a film, 1 to 3 minutes. I don't need music. It doesn't have to be special. It just has to showcase your abilities. Okay? How are you going to handle their interest? So September 1 comes, and you get a phone call at 12:01 a.m. How are you going to handle that?
Not really sure.
You're not really sure? Well, you better figure it out.
We'll have to get off Fortnite first.
They might have to get out of the kitchen. The answer isn't good. You have to think about it, guys. It's an interview. It's a first impression. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be yourself. But you just don't be surprised. It's okay to dream. And maybe you don't know if they're that good or not. No, it's okay to dream. I'll be honest with you. I dreamt about it every night. But prepare. How am I going to handle it if a coach calls me? What if a coach calls you from from a school you know you have absolutely no interest in, what do? You lead them on? Hey, coach, yeah, I'm really excited to do it. I hate that place. That coach just got off the phone and was like, okay, interested. We're going to reach back out to that young man. We're going to write the word what? Honest. So if a coach calls and you're not interested, say, Coach, God, I'm really flattered. I really don't know what to say. I'm so flattered to hear from you, and I know your school's a wonderful school, and you know, I really appreciate it. I know you got a great program. My family and I have been trying to prepare for this for a little while, and we've narrowed it down to 5 schools. Or we've narrowed it down to 8 schools, or we've narrowed it down to southern schools, or big schools, or small schools. The hardest thing for you guys is to say no. Because you don't want to be rude. You haven't been brought up to be that way. And you love the attention. You're scared to say no. It's okay to tell a coach no. I'm going to tell you, we hear no more than we hear yes. We're all used to it. We may be disappointed, but we're all used to it. And if we really like it, then we'll be persistent. And you may have to say no a couple more times. But it's okay to say no. Does everybody understand that? Once September 1 comes, entertain all correspondence. So you don't know about a school, don't say no then. Say yes. What time is it? 8 minutes. Okay, I can move in here. Okay? Entertain the phone calls. Read the letters. Find out about it. You never know. I can tell you this. Never in my wildest dream did I think I would go to Johns Hopkins or a place like smaller city school. Never thought. Thought I wanted to go to a bigger school with big football, big basketball, and that was what I wanted. Turned out it wasn't what was best for me. And I made the right decision for me. So keep an open mind. Okay? Try your best to return all calls, respond to emails and text messages. Do not do what you do with your friends, or more particularly, do not do what you do with your parents. Or do not do what my kids do with their parents. You get an email from a coach, you respond to it quickly. If you're not interested, you respond politely, thank you, but no thanks. If you're interested, you just tell the coach, Coach, I'm interested. It's okay to tell your coach you're excited. It's good, he should know that. But respond. You get a phone call, and they don't get you. You guys don't like talking on the phone. You want to text. Coach calls you, you return the call. I can tell you this, I call a guy, he doesn't return my call, he ain't getting another one. Okay, I'm at Johns Hopkins. I don't need to waste my time. I'll go find another guy. Return the calls. It's polite. If you're offered a job by a company, you've got to return that call. Whether you're going to take it or not, because you never know what's going to happen down the line. Okay? If they send you an email, respond to the email, phone call. And by the way, I keep saying email. So now you understand you got to check your emails. I know you guys don't like to do email. I know it's Instagram, Snapchat, and all that other garbage. We can't do all that. Check your email. Okay? You got to check your email. If you've already made your decision to not consider a certain school after previous research, tell the coach that. We talked about that. It's okay. We're used to hearing no. Okay? If you don't know much about the school that contacts you, give it a chance. If you don't know much, tell the coach. Coach, I don't know much about your school. Could you tell me about it? I called a kid when I was at Cornell University. He said, oh, Coach, you're too big for me. I'm like, too big? I said, nothing. Can you tell me how big? Oh, you're like 50,000 people. 50,000 people. We got less than 20. He didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. So ask. Don't be afraid to ask. Okay? You only get 5 official visits. Make good use of it. So now we're getting into the official visit. Way back when you could only take an official visit when you were senior. You know what an official visit is? You know the difference between an official visit and an unofficial visit? No. Okay. An official visit is something a college can pay for. We can pay for your gas mileage, we can pay for your train, we can pay for your airplane, your airfare, we can put you up in a hotel, we pay for everything, we do all that. We can feed you. An unofficial visit, you pay for it. Okay? So if young men take official visits till their senior year, and yet we were permitting 9th graders. You know what we did? We brought them all for unofficial visits. And they committed off of an unofficial visit. Okay? So an official visit we pay for. Official visit you spend the night or spend no more than 48 hours. An unofficial visit you can spend the night if the school allows that for any general student. So we can't offer you a cup of water on an unofficial visit. We can't offer you a soda. Hey, can I get you something to drink? Can't do it. But on an official visit, absolutely we can do that. Does that make sense, guys? So you only get 5 of those. Now you can take any in your junior year or your senior year, but you only get 5. Not 5 in the junior year, 5 in the senior year. 5. You can take 2 in the junior, 3 in the senior. You can take all 5 in the junior. Chances are a lot of guys are going to take them in their junior year now because there's going to be so much competition for spots that they're going to look to make a decision, so they'll take those in the junior year. Take as many unofficial visits as you deem necessary. You can go visit a school unofficially as many times as you want. You weren't sure, you can go back. You can go to 12 schools if you want, you can go to 15 schools, you can go to 50 schools if you want. But you can only take 5 official visits. Whether you get a phone call or not, continuing to ping the coaching staff through your schedule, highlights, and updates sporadically. So you don't hear from it. You don't hear from the coach you want. Don't stop. You never know. They may lose out on another guy, and then you may be their guy. They may not have seen you on a good day, but see you on a good day and another tournament. Don't fret. If they're not interested, they'll tell you that they're not interested. Okay? Communicate with friends, teammates who attend schools you're visiting about their experience. This is just opinion though, fellas. This isn't information. Differentiate between opinion and information. Information is what you get from the coach. Information is what you get from the academic advisors at the schools, the counselors at the schools, the counselors at your school. What someone else tells you about a school, that's an opinion. Differentiate between opinion and information. Make a decision based off of the information that you've got. Because remember, your experience and your process is going to be different than the other guys. So the feeling you might get from a coach may be very different. The amount of information you may get from a coach may be very different. But everybody's got an opinion, or you should go there. It's not a place. That'd be a great place for you. It just wasn't a great place for the other guy. So be careful to differentiate between opinion and fact. Keep a spreadsheet with pros and cons, unique interests at every institution. So pros, I like the coach. Con, I don't like the size. Pro, I like the food. Con, they don't have my major. At the end of the day, you'll look at it and it'll be very clear. And if it's not clear, then you really got to think about it, then you got to revisit the place. When informing other coaches of your decision, always be cordial. Thank you, coach. Appreciate everything you did for me. You were very kind. I'm flattered. I just wanted to let you know my family and I made a decision. I'm going to attend University A. I hope you respect my decision. Any coach worth his weight in gold, if he does anything but say, you know what, I'm disappointed, but good luck, he's an ass. And you didn't want to play for him in the first place. It's not the way you handle young men when they do the right things. Okay? Division 1, 2, and 3. Doesn't matter. You handle things the same way. Okay? Not all jerseys and televisions. What you see on TV is not all that. Division 1 lacrosse is a full-time job. Do you understand that? I mean a full-time job. You got 2 jobs. You got school and you have lacrosse. That's what you have. It's a full-time job. Make sure you want it. Because we get guys that show up on campus and go, oh my God, I can't believe how much time I have to put in, how much energy. It's 4 hours a day between getting up to camp, getting up to the athletic center or the facility, getting tape, watching film, practice, post-practice treatments, maybe more film, and you're out of there. And oh, by the way, then you got study hall. You have all those things. It's a full-time job, fellas. So Division 1 is not for everybody. It's where Division 2 and Division 3 are a little bit different. The commitment is a little bit less. Okay? Strength and conditioning is an hour. film's an hour. Pre-post practice is 30 minutes to an hour. Practice is 2 hours. Study hall could be an hour or 2. Well, now you're up to 6 hours. We can do 4 hours of athletic stuff, and then we can do academic stuff. It's a lot. You just have to decide if that's for you. It isn't for everybody. And you know what? If it isn't for you, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Other responsibilities, you got to host recruits, you got to meet with recruits, you got to do interviews, you got academic meetings, you got community service. You are a reflection of the coach. So you go out and you do something nice, you know what happens? The whole team, what a great group of guys. But if you do something bad, what a bunch of jerks those lacrosse players are. Because you're part of a team. There is a tremendous responsibility, okay, when you make this decision, if you're going to be recruited, if you want to play at the Division I level. And make the process your own. Enjoy it. If you're honest and you tell people that you're interested in, that you have interest, great. Tell people that you're not interested in, that you're not interested in, you start to sift through the distraction, and you can focus on the schools you're most interested in. Take your time, but be efficient. You don't have to make a decision the first month. And I know a lot of guys in here feel like they did. Oh my God, did you know that junior from Gilman made a decision, and oh my God, the guy from St. Paul just made one, the guy from BL made one. Oh my God, what's going on? I better make a decision. You don't have to make one. Don't be pressured by what others do. Make a decision when you're ready, because if you make a decision because of pressure, I'm going to tell you some chances are you're going to wind up leaving that school. Because you chose it for the wrong reason. You chose it because you felt like you had to make a decision, not that it was the right school. So I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to be married one day, baby?
Yeah.
So young woman you're dating, you need to marry me by next week. Seriously, you need to marry her by next week. You going to marry her? What do you mean no? If you don't marry her, you're going to lose her. Too early. It's no different. That's a really big decision in your life, isn't it? So is this. So make it when you're ready to make it. Don't let some adult tell you when you have to make it. Now, that said, be efficient. Be considerate. Don't drag it out because you're really enjoying it. You like the visits and it's fun. Make a decision when you're prepared and ready to make a decision. Get to know each school, its players, and its coaches. Everybody says, do not choose a school for a coach. You've heard that before, right? Well, that coach is going to be with you more than your parents are going to be with you for those 4 years of your life. I spend more time with my guys than their parents do over the 4 years of college. I'm with them 4, 5, I'm around them more than their parents. So they're home for 2.5 months in the summer. And when they're back home, they're really not home. They're out with their friends. When they're with us, they're with us. I see them. So you wanna feel good about the men that you're going to go play for. That is really important. Is it the only reason to choose a school? Absolutely not. Coach can leave. Coach can get fired. So you got to really like the school, but who the coach is, what kind of men they are, that is an important part of this decision. There's no one foolproof way to be recruited. Everybody's process is different. What I'm telling you, I might not tell him. And what I told you, I might not tell him. Coaches are going to talk to young men differently based off of their interest. They're going to handle the process differently. You need to understand that. Mom and Dad, if your son's getting calls from 3 or 4 Division II schools and 12 Division III schools, and 1 Division I school, chances are he's a Division II or a Division III player. Be realistic. Doesn't mean he can't have goals and aspirations and maybe go walk on at a Division I place. No one says you can't. But the process will kind of give you a sense for what level your son is at. So I have twin boys, and if all the calls they get are from Division III schools, then chances are that's what they are. Division III players. If they're Division I schools, the chances are they're Division I players. Coaches know their jobs and know their business. They're good at it. So It's hard sometimes to be realistic, but it's important to be that way. Everyone has their own process and their own story, early, late, and in between. So we have an All-American on our team. We didn't find him until his senior year. All-American defenseman. We didn't find him until his senior year. We got guys on our team that we recruited right after their 8th grade year and did nothing. We got guys that we didn't scholarship that turned out to be All-Americans. Recruiting is not an exact science. We as coaches are going to make mistakes. We're going to do what we think is best, and hopefully most coaches are going to do what they think is right. Okay? You have to do what's best for you and what's right for you. Leave no stone unturned, okay? Again, do your homework. Look for that special feeling. Now, unfortunately for me, I visited 5 schools and I had that special feeling at every school. That was a bit of a problem. So then you got to find other ways to separate the schools. Academics, what's financially affordable for you, location, internship opportunities, job opportunities. Hey, coach, what's the alumni network? Again, don't be afraid to ask all these questions. It's a big decision. Don't ask them after the fact and then find out that it's not. So I know a boy who went to a school, he wanted to study architecture. He was really excited, went to that school, found out when he got there, there's no architecture. Bad job doing his homework. All he had to do was ask the coach. I'm sure the coach would have said, I'm sorry, we don't have that. But we have this. And then you can decide whether that's for you or not. Make the best choice for you because that choice will impact the next 40 years of your life. Absolutely, positively, it still impacts me every single day. Okay? There's a place for everyone. Everyone's not a Division I lacrosse player. There's no shame in that. Not everybody's a Division II or III. Not everybody's going to play in college. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just got to take the time and find your place. So I hope that was helpful. Easier for me to work off of those questions, and hopefully I answered a lot of questions, Ron. I'll do it quickly.
I'll do one, because a lot of them you answered a lot of the questions. But there's one I want to touch base with, and I'm actually going to say something too. A lot of things that Coach went over, we have a questionnaire, but I wanted to ask his first question.
You understand Alabama's going to score their first touchdown in about 25
seconds.
Okay,
so just give you this one, because I thought this was important for some people, maybe not everybody here, but some. And this question, I don't know who sent it in, but I do believe you're here right now. Given our experience with our oldest, what advice do coaches have for student athletes who have learning disabilities and may not be able to meet NCAA eligibility requirements? Had we been able to ask this question in middle school and better prepare ourselves, we might not have had an issue with our third college in 2 years for our older son.
Yeah, so great question. And more prevalent than you can imagine, more young men and women on college campuses that are dealing with some kind of learning disability. So it is important to ask the question. So if you have a child that has a diagnosed disability, or you even remotely think that child has a disability, get him or her tested. Okay, that's number one. Have that information, but you can't go in and say, well, he has or she has a disability when you don't have documentation. That means nothing to a college if you do not have documentation. Colleges, every college in this country is required by law to provide specific services to any student, not student athlete, any student that has a disability. So that disability could be a reading disability. So there are ways now where they have smart pens, where as you copy notes, the smart pen records the lecture. There are note takers in schools. There's untimed exams. There's oral exams. I don't feel comfortable taking an exam in a big room of people. I've never taken an exam in front of 500 other people. You can take it in a private room as long as your disability documentation states that these are the services or this is the support that you need. We are, as an institution, required by law to do that. So we've had a kid who came to our campus, made a decision to come, and never informed us that they had a disability. Now that's not the first question I usually ask a young man when he comes in. Hey, brought to my attention as coach, can you tell me how you would support Johnny who has such and such a disability? And we'll go through the whole thing. It is not something to be embarrassed about. It's a challenge. It's not a disability, it's a challenge. We're all challenged in life in different ways. It's a learning challenge. Let me tell you something. I had a learning challenge. I was lazy as shit. But it was a learning challenge. And what I should have done, and my father did, he said, okay, my son's lazy. What are you going to do to make sure he's not lazy? And my coach had it, A, B, C, and D, and they did every bit of that. So ask the question. Make sure if that is important to you, you ask the question. Second thing is if there are specific needs that that student has, ask if they provide that kind of services. A school may not have it. If they have it, they're required to provide it. So don't be afraid to ask. And then any coach worth his weight in gold will spend enough time to share with you. Most places, or most of the more the elite Division I programs, are going to have them meet with some kind of academic advisor. Ask that academic advisor. If you don't feel comfortable with what the coach said, ask the advisor. Ask to spend time at the Disability Services office. Sometimes it's a learning center. At larger schools, it's a learning center. At small schools, it's a Disability Services office.
Can a person go on an unofficial visit and see that?
Absolutely. You go on an official visit, you can see anybody if they're willing to see it. You can see the president if he's willing to see it. There's nothing wrong when you go say, look, I'm interested in this major. Could I meet with either an advisor or a faculty member in this area? If we're interested, we're going to make that happen. On our itinerary for you, you're going to meet with Jane Smith and Joe Jones and Jimmy Johns. You're going to meet with all the people that you need to meet with to meet your needs and have all your questions answered. So if that question is asked, it will get answered. I would hope, at least at the Division I level, I know it will get answered. And you will have the information that you need, and you can have the opportunity to speak to anybody in the Disability Services office or the Learning Center to get first-hand information. If the coach doesn't know, then he should tell you that. I don't have that answer, let me have you meet with so-and-so. Or I can't answer that appropriately, let me have you meet with so-and-so and you can ask and do that. Hope that answers the question.
Absolutely. All right. Once you,
No.
everybody, well, and one other actually quick one.
Yeah, I would take questions from you guys. I'm not allowed to. NCAA rules don't. So my conversation with you tonight has not been specific to Hopkins. It's been very general. I'm not allowed to do that, you know, especially during a quiet.
And when I ask for questions from our families, I let them know that too. We had another one regarding, you know, given the recruiting tournaments that we as a club or other clubs and high schools do, what's the importance of these players to attend showcase events like Maverick, SDX Rise, and Under Armour? Should they do it when they're younger, or should they wait till their junior year? What's the importance of that to you as a coach looking at these?
I'm going to answer this question the right way, and I'm not going to answer it where it benefits clubs. I'm going to tell you the right answer, okay? Clubs are a business. Not all clubs are like the one you're a part of, I will say that. Many of them are a turnstile and a moneymaker. And my children are in this club for a reason. It doesn't mean every club out there is a bad one. There are a lot of great ones, and there's a lot of ones we really rely on. So when do you start doing this? Well, the first thing I want to tell you is this: you don't have to do all of them. Okay? We find that we recruit these young men, and they feel like they have to go to every single tournament. Now, that's going to get worse. Again, it was actually getting better because guys were making commitments early, and they didn't feel like they had to go to like 6 tournaments in the summer to be seen because they were already committed. So they would go to 2 or 3. Now, with guys not being committed going into their junior year, they are going to feel like, I got to get out there. I have to be seen. Coach is going to be at this tournament. This other coach is going to be at this tournament. God, these 5 tournaments are great. Oh, by the way, I want to play in an Under Armour tournament too, because that'll be a lot of fun. Next thing you know, you're playing in 6 or 7 events. Way too many. Way too many. So it's okay to start early because coaches, while we can't contact you, we can evaluate you at any age. So let me repeat that. We cannot contact you or have contact with you until September 1 of your junior year. However, I can watch you as a freshman, and I can watch you as a sophomore, and I can know come September 1 of your junior year which ones I'm calling and which ones I'm not calling. Now, coaches are going to focus more this summer on the 2021s. Okay, so this past year, a lot of coaches, you saw more coaches at 2020 tournaments than you've seen in years. It's always been, we're going to watch the 9th graders play. And now you're seeing guys, they're going to watch the rising juniors play. It's a huge paradigm shift for us as coaches. If you're a coach like I am, where we were done with that 2020 class, well, I've been watching 9th and 10th graders for the last however many months. We're allowed to watch you play at a young age. Most coaches are not going to. But I would tell you there is value to going to these showcases like a Maverick, like an Under Armour. Here's why it's simple. If you go, sure, you can get noticed. Absolutely, some coaches might be there, depending on just how young they want to look. We tend to like to get a head start. We're going to look at young guys just to have more information when they become older. Just gives us more evaluation. However, the real reason is go compete against good competition. Go improve. Everybody's forgotten that club lacrosse is not about playing. It's about improving. It's about becoming a better player. It's a developmental thing. So if you go to Maverick, which is one of the better tournaments out there, or showcases, you're going to compete against really good players. That's only going to help you get better. It's going to help you develop a reputation. It's also going to help you later on when you play against really stiff and good competition. So I wouldn't shy away from good competition, but I'm going to tell you, I'd stay away from doing 5 and 6, 4. I stopped letting my guys do stuff in the fall when they're playing another sport. That could hurt my guys. I think at the end of the day, in the long run, it helps them. You're playing football, no lacrosse. You're playing basketball, no lacrosse. Just the way I feel, because I feel like young guys are playing way too much. And they're getting mean and they're tired. And they don't want to play anymore. And they don't know how to compete because in tournaments, it's not club's fault, but in tournaments, how many guys go to tournaments and play for championships? Couple, right? Not many, right? You play 3 games on Friday, 4 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and all you go home, right? I hate it. You play to win. You play to win something. You don't play to just play. And it was getting lost in that competitive nature. You lose a game, no big deal, I got 5 more. You win a game, you're not excited, no big deal, I got 5 more. And rightfully so, you're just playing a lot of lacrosse. So I would temper how much I do when I'm younger. I would do a couple things that are competitive. I would go to a couple that my club is involved with. If you have a high school that you're trying out for, you probably should be involved with that in some way, shape, or form, because that's the team you're going to try out for eventually. But I wouldn't feel like I have to do everything, and I wouldn't overdo it, because we recruited guys and turned around and said, we're done, because we've seen too much of them. And when we saw them late, they were tired, they were lousy, and we just decided we couldn't take it because we just weren't sure. They played well early and bad late. So the more they played, the worse they got, because they were fatigued. They go from tournament A to B to C. So parents, not too much. Not too much. I think this club has it in perspective, quite frankly.
We try to pick the tournaments too that give the kids the exposure so they don't have to do so much.
Exactly. You do 2 or 3 tournaments and they're the right ones, awesome. Go enjoy your summer. Go play pickup basketball. Go see your girlfriend. Go swim in a pool. Go camping. Go have fun. It's important. Balance is important. So I'm sorry I can't stay longer. Hopefully I answered many of your questions.
Yes, no, when we're done, I've just got about 2 or 3 minutes with them. After you're done, you can get ready, you can go, and I just want them for a few, just to, you know, hit some points that are important at what we do at Koopers.
I'll make sure I check your list and score again.
Thank you very much. Hopefully, guys, that's, you know, part of the process of, and a very large part of the process of what Coach has just discussed with you. One of the things that Koopers, and just like a lot of other clubs do, we use, and when Coach talks about reaching out to schools, all of our 10th grade guys, and actually the 9th graders that are here, next year you'll go into this. We do a couple of different things at Koopers, and we ask a couple of things of you as a player. It doesn't always mean that you're going to do it. Again, the process is what you make of it. It's one of the first things that Coach said is what you make of it and how much you take out of it is what you're going to get out of it. Communication with coaches. How do you do that? Well, you know, emails are great, but we work off of a platform. So all of our old guys, 10th and 11th graders, work off of a platform. This year, we just went to a company called Lacrosse. It's just a way for them to put your GPA, your contact information, your videos, your interests, hobbies, everything all in one, and neatly get that to the coaches and schools of your dreams. Okay? When Coach said, and what's important is Division I, 12.6 scholarships, Division II, 9.9, IB none, Division III, none. Division III probably has the ability to work the numbers a little bit better, but that's a lot of schools, guys. So if you're talking about Division I, II, and III schools, you're going to really email individually 450, 500 schools? No. So how do you do that? A platform helps. Okay? Why should you be doing it now? Because again, just like Coach said, when you get to that point, when the bell starts ringing and the race starts and where it go, you don't want to be starting the process now. All of my 2021 guys, all of them, okay? Not you, Brandon, because you're 22 playing on 21, so that's why you don't have it. But everyone else here has that, okay? You guys all should be set up on that platform already and already using it. And what you do is that you send them information, you send them about your school, your schedule, what tournaments you're going to play. The next one would be tournaments you're going to play in the summer, okay? Any updated video, and you keep it short, but again, you're communicating at that process. So when again, the floodgates open, you are prepared and ready. You've reached out to the schools that you need to reach out to. If you are not set up with that platform yet, which they do provide a free video, okay, it's paid for, guys. It's what Koopers pays for you. You should be using it. The questionnaire, I should have a questionnaire from everybody. Because when I'm finding out guys are going down to the University of Virginia to go to a prospect camp, and one of the boys doesn't even have Virginia on their list as far as who their top schools are, that's a problem. Why are you going? Just like Coach said. Narrow it down to what's effective and efficient for you, what's best for you. Utilize my help and your coach's help. That's why we're here. And go through this process. So again, you have a website that we use, or it's a platform, Lacrosse. All the 22s will be on it. Next year after that will be 23s. It was different this year than last because we're starting with the rule change pushed back. We didn't want to put our 9th graders on it. I think it's just too much time. But all you guys that are older, that's the way you're communicating with people, because every college coach can't see you. All right? They're not going to be able to get to you, so how are you going to get to them? You're going to put the video right in front of them, you're going to tell them the grades, where to contact you, where to see you, and at that point, you're going to have the opportunity to get enough eyes on you and get the opportunities that you're looking at. And like Coach said, if you're getting Division II or III offers, it might be better for you to stay away from putting all your time and efforts into Division I programs. Anybody have any questions for me? I know, again, everyone wants to get out of here for the game, so anybody have any questions? Carl?
The quiet time, quiet period.
Yes, I have that, and I'm actually going to put that on the website so you guys will know exactly what days and what quiet time is, guys, is that it's a period where the NCAA does not allow communication between student athlete and coach in the high school to college level. Not in college, once you're in college, it's okay. But a dead period is where coaches cannot communicate. So after Thanksgiving went into a dead period for a little while. That's why there's not a lot of tournaments when you go into December, because college coaches can't communicate with them. But you see Division III programs offering a couple of showcases. Well, why? Because they can actually communicate. But the dead period, we'll have that up shortly, where in the recruiting section on our Koopers website, which will show you the time periods that you'll have, for which again are dead periods, which means you can't communicate with a coach. Yes, you can send something out, but you're not going to get any response back. Good question. Anything else? Thank you guys for being here. This will be on video, so we'll also send that out to everybody as well. And if anyone has any questions, again, our doors are always open. So